Today I'll share how to use the Z-image model to enlarge images high resolution and fix details. Let me give you a brief introduction first, and then I will go into more detail later. Images recently generated using ChatGPT image tool. There's a lot of noise, and the details are all jumbled up. I want to both enlarge the image and restore details. This Z-image model can then be used for repair. Let's look at the results after the repair, like his face. It looks much better after the repair, and these grasses will be much more perfect. You can take a look at this. This is the repaired version. However, many details will have problems. For example, there are more subtle and natural features on this person's face. The second step at this point is to use the SeedVR2 model to repair it. Let's look at the results after the repair. For example, this face. It will look more three-dimensional after the restoration. However, its downside is that it's too woolly and has a slightly artificial feel. This grass is a bit too sharp. Furthermore, it doesn't fix facial issues. It won't repair text-related parts in particular. For example, it won't repair this character. It won't fix the following character either. At this point, after using it to enlarge to high definition, finally, use the Z-image model to refine the details. The zooming option on this side is face zoom and restoration. This combination is the image. Let's look at the results after the repair. For example, although it was a small item, the repair was very successful. The details have also been improved. For example, the greasiness has been removed. Then take another look at this text. The text was unclear before, but it has now reverted to its original state. This detail was fixed with great precision. It not only restored the character with high-definition magnification. This is the key point. And then there are these faces behind them, all jumbled up like a mess. It was fixed in one go. You can see this detail. For example, it looked like this before. The head was a complete mess, but after it was repaired, at least you could tell it was although it's very small, there's no need to pay too much attention to that tiny detail. These restorations had a lot of detail before and after. It would be even more perfect if you only use high-definition magnification. Without attention to detail, it becomes greasy. Therefore, the final step is needed to remove this greasy feeling. It would be more realistic, like the water and stuff. The final result was perfect. The key point is that all these texts have been repaired. Using only the middle element to enlarge the image will also achieve the desired effect. However, it won't fix the details. Therefore, it is necessary to use the image to repair these details and text. There are also models that use facial magnification to reconstruct the facial features and repair the face. Step 1 only uses a simple texture magnification. It's about enhancing these texture details to make it look clearer, because the original image is actually quite messy with noise. It would make things more reasonable. It can be considered a system organizer. These details can be organized in a very logical way. Then the noise on the clothes will also be removed. I'll go into more detail later. Let me first introduce the IntBrain Cloud Online Mirror I'm using. Users prefer to deploy locally and use it immediately. Just click on my mirror. This is the image I'm using now. If you see something that I can use, you can use it too. I've placed this workflow in the first high-definition zone. In the SeedVR2 workflow. Of course, this also includes high-definition video restoration. This is not usually used for video. This is a typical high-resolution image restoration project. It simply enlarges the image in high definition. It's a bit like a less intelligent high-definition magnifier. Of course, this mirror also contains many workflows. These outermost ones are the most common. The most practical thing right now is video zooming. Flex VS video high-definition magnification. Of course, I also have some other latest models here. For example, LTX points and 3 points. Flex also has a full set available when you open it. There's also 1000 questions, 2511 or music generation. It includes a complete suite of features such as voice cloning, voice design, 1000 questions, 3 TTS. Also features the most advanced voice cloning technology currently available. This workflow is in the first place. I also categorize this into image, video, and audio. The video contains over 10,000 workflows. There are more than 300 image categories. Currently, it is generally used for learning purposes. Of course, sometimes audio workflows are very useful and you can use them. Voice-related refers to voice changing in previous songs. Wuyangfeng speech was sound extraction and sound editing. This is my online mirror. If you don't want to deploy locally, just open my image. You can freely combine them within one ComfyUI. The advantage of online mirroring lies in building all workflows together. If you want to deploy it locally, you can click on my notes. Click on the ComfyUI tutorial in the navigation. It will jump to the bottom of the workflow. Similar to mirror images, I've placed this workflow in the image category for high-resolution zone. The names correspond one-to-one with the workflow name. Each workflow corresponds to one node. Click on it to find the installation tutorial and all the models you need. The download link also has a node. Furthermore, this makes it clear which one detailed annotations for each and where it should be placed. No need to download all. At the bottom are screenshots of all the workflows inside. You can click to view in high definition. All the screenshots clearly show the parameters. This way, sometimes it's not necessary to open the workflow. There are also simple operation diagrams. You only need to operate on the color parts. At the very bottom are the video tutorials for all workflows. There is also a download workflow. The notes are suitable for people who deploy locally. I would recommend using my online mirror directly. You can have it all with just one click. Moreover, it can be run directly online without needing to consider building or downloading models, etc. Okay, let's get back to this workflow. The above is actually a normal LTX.3 image video setup. The difference is the addition of a new LoRa with a fixed focus. I used the latest 1.1 version of the model. This makes its effect even more perfect. You don't even need to write the prompt words. It will automatically focus without trigger words. If necessary, the parameters can be regenerated or adjusted. This provides one logical arrangement within the system. It becomes very regular and easy to operate. These 3 steps are the complete process we use for repair. Of course, if you feel the first step was a perfect repair, then you can just download the first one. If you're not satisfied, then download step 2. If you are still not satisfied, download step 3. This is the best possible effect. This solves the problem of the image generated by ChatGPT Image 2. The problem of excessive noise and fragmented image. That's all for this episode. Go have fun.